What's going on, hustlers? Back to you guys with another video. So this is the beginning of the long-awaited packaging video. Um, I had a bunch of awards that I was gonna ship, and then like my shipping guy literally shipped them. Like I kind of left them there for a while because I was doing my check ride, and then after I finished my instrument, I started my commercial, which I'm literally about to take next week. So I really haven't gotten a chance to go down there. So what this video is going to be basically just an excerpt from Ignore to Award, which is basically like our entry level educational product, and it's old. It's from like earlier when I still had dreads. And then I basically chopped it up because it was that whole portion, like really how to ship and how to invoice and how to label. It's really a 4-hour video, but I can't post 4 hours on YouTube, so I just took the most relevant stuff. Now, there's two things I want to say. One, I reference checklists and stuff in here. I cannot put checklists on YouTube. Like there's no way that I can like put them up in the video because this is basically a recording of a recording. So there's a couple of checklists. So I don't put them up on the screen as a PDF, but I show them to you. So if you guys want to screenshot them and then copy and paste them, that's fine. And then towards the end of the video, I show you guys everything that I use. Like I literally go through the entire document, the folder. Now there's a couple stuff that is specific to us, Two Lines Aerospace, because we're an aviation company that you don't need. So take notes. One, you're not going to need a certificate of conformance. Two, you're not going to need a receiving receipt. You're not going to need, you should make a packing slip. It's not required. You should make an invoice and a sales order and a purchase order. Invoicing, sales order, purchase order, and packing slip, not required, but strongly recommend. And then the receiving receipt, the receiving inspection checklist, all that stuff, that's just like because we're a bit further along in our journey. But if you're a startup, you really don't need that. DLA is not going to bust your balls. But I show you guys literally exactly everything that you need. So that's one thing that I want to address is the checklist. And then the second thing, so you guys will see me go into VSM and then generate a label, but then you'll see that the labels that I put on the box are different. That's because we use a different software to get our labels from VSM. VSM is free, but the software that I used in that video is paid, and it's called MillPack. So I don't want anybody to get up in here and be like, oh, you're not giving us the full sauce. If you want to know what softwares I use to make my labels look exactly like that in the video, it's the MillPack software, all right? The VSM labels you can print, you just can't adjust the size, so you'll see on the document, the VSM labels look different than what I actually printed out, and that is only because I use MillPack. It's a software. You can go on their website, get Mill Standard 129 labeling, just the labeling, purchase it. You can do that. So I don't want anybody to come up here and be like, oh, I'm not giving y'all the full sauce, all right? That was the second thing. The third thing is, I'm trying to think. Part of the video is just kind of chopped up and choppy because literally it's a 4-hour video. Like it's initially a 4-hour training, and I just cannot put a 4-hour video on YouTube. That would be ridiculous, and nobody would have the attention span to watch it. So I literally am just going through the most important stuff. And the checklist that you cannot see, I'm verbally going through them in this video. So you can take notes, write them down, create your own checklist, all right? This video that I'm giving you, literally not a single other human being in the entire country is giving you guys. So yeah, thank you guys for getting me to 1K. I don't know what I'm going to do for 2K. And I need to make sure that I do something that like I can be held accountable for, and I give you guys immediately when I hit 2K. Like I need to do like a giveaway or a raffle. I might do like maybe like a year-long subscription of Lucy. That's probably like, I don't know, probably like $2,000 or something like that. I might give it away to like one subscriber or something. I'm not sure. Comment what you guys want for 2K, but it has to be something that as soon as it happens, you guys can call me out on it and make sure that I get it for you immediately. Because with this, I got distracted. I was traveling. I was in fucking Thailand. I was like bullshitting and I was flying. Like this, it needs to be something that like I can hold myself accountable, like in the public eye, and just be like, okay, I get it for you guys immediately. So comment below what you guys want. But yeah, just a couple things to keep note of. It's a recording of a recording, and it's a bit older from when I had hair, but I just can't go to the warehouse to record it now. Literally waiting to take a check ride. So I figured if I could get this video out to you, which is still super very in-depth, it's going to be better than nothing. All right, so this is probably going to be like a 40-minute video anyway, so I'm going to let you guys get into it. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'm 99.999% sure you guys are going to have questions, so comment your questions or DM me on Instagram if you have any questions. And then yeah, my last video, some people were hating on me, but more people liked the fact that I do not give a I'm gonna, you know what? I'm not even gonna like try to act like I'm like prim and proper. More people like me for the fact that I didn't give a shit and I say whatever I want than people don't like me because I sound like arrogant or whatever. Yeah, that's just how I teach. That's just how I talk. So if you don't like it, then like please unsubscribe. But I almost feel like I get to like I kind of feel like I get to hold all the cards because I'm putting out information that nobody else is putting out there. So like you might not like me. Like you could hate me. You could think I'm arrogant. You're probably right. I probably am an asshole. I probably am arrogant. But I'm giving you more information than anybody else is on the topic, so you can hate me, but you can't ignore me. So if you don't like it, free 90. The unsubscribe button is free 99. But anyways, I'm gonna let you guys get into the video. Peace. Inspection of the parts. So let's see, 310s, the 31200106025551. So they match, so we have to take a picture of them in the box, which is actually what this is. So you write the contract number, you check that the ship to address on the label is to you. So that's our address is on the thing. Open the box and review the paperwork. So the paperwork is actually inside of here. So you have to take pictures prior to opening that. Verify the part number, serial, description, condition, price, and quantity, and unit of issue match what's on our PO. So we have to open this. So prior to us opening this, because this one is sealed, but normally if they're in one-off packages, you can take them off. We have to take pictures. So I'm going to take a couple pictures and then we just took some pictures. So now we can open this. So I'll probably cut this because we have a heat sealing machine. So I will probably just cut this open and then heat seal it back together. So this is supposed to be for 10 units. So we've got some of them rubber banded. We have our CFC on it. Let's see. This is 3 units right here. This is another 3 units. And then this is 4 units right here. So that's 10. So let's open this up. Oh, this one is heat sealed as well. Look at that. This company, this is why we're such good friends with this company, because we use the same practices. So yeah, they heat sealed this. So we're going to open this up. You have to examine the certificate of conformance. So we know that the quantity is correct. The part number is correct. The NSN is correct. The nomenclature is correct. Now we have to open up this certificate of conformance. So certificate of conformance, I folded out the company's name. Certificate of conformance, 2 lines aerospace, PO 564, description, part number, all that. So we've got the certificate of conformance. So now you have to lay out all of the material. You have to lay it out on a table. So if there's 100, you got to take pictures of 100 laid out, which is why I say not to do anything more than 100, because it becomes a real pain in the neck when you have to package, ship, inspect, label anything more than 100 units. That's like really pushing the boundaries of, you know, what you should be doing in a day with your time, because you invoke an opportunity cost when you bid on higher unit things. So this is what it would look like. So you would have all that laid out. So we have 10 units. So all 10 of our bearings are laid out. And then I'm going to take a picture with the iPad, including the company CFC. Boom. So we took photos of that. Now what you want to do, realistically, you should be checking this off as you go. I will probably scan this document and then put it up on the screen so that way you guys can see it, because I'm just reading it for myself. Check that the physical part number description clearly visible, match the paperwork as well as batch lot number. So that's what we just did. We laid out all the parts and then put the CFC. Take pictures of the parts in different angles and nameplate where it's clearly readable. So I just took a couple pictures. In the case of discrepancies found, such as missing paperwork, incorrect documentation, damage, missing pieces, non-conformity, place in quarantine area. Where's our quarantine area? Oh, so we have a cage right off here that's quarantined for parts that are a bit funky. You need that to pass an inspection. So if you're in your apartment or something, dedicate like a shelf or something for parts that are incorrect. And now that we have basically certified this. I'm gonna check all these, I'm gonna sign this, and then go back and print the receiving inspection report. So if you're in Zoho, you just go back to the purchase order page and then click receive, and then it's intuitive. If you're in Wave, I believe it's the same thing. You just click Wave on the purchase. You just click on the purchase order in Wave and then click receive, usually on the top of the screen. We use AppSite, so I'm gonna go back and do that now. It says that we don't have to do this if it's commercial packaging, but I figured I would give
Some
you
more
guys the
Cantave
website anyways,
stuff, guys.
so that way going forward, if you come across something that's not commercial packaging, you can look it up and find the code translation. So you literally just type in Campilitos into Google, and you want to come to this website, packaging code lookup, and right in section B, underneath where it says prep for delivery, it actually gives you packaging data. So really all you do is you type in the numbers that are in the solicitation. So in our instance, it's 31 for the preservation method. Cleaning and drying is 1. Preservative materials 09. This one's actually a bit different. Wrapping material GH. This is actually quite interesting. We normally get a standard one. Cushioning material 00, cushioning thickness 0, unit container, what does that say? E5, Echo 5, packaging code, Quebec. So I'm actually pulling all this information from the contract. I'll probably keep a picture of it since this one is so unique. Special marking code 00, no special marking. Packing level, is there anything that has to do with packing level on here? Nope, nothing with packing level. So it's just 00. So you basically type these in, and it's shorthand on the contract, but it's pretty intuitive. It's straightforward, and you just read what it says, and then there's a code after like a colon, and it tells you what should be after it. So you literally just type this in, and then you press get packaging data. So here we know that it's a waterproof bag. It needs to be heat sealed so the item preserved, wrapped, and cushioned as required in section 5 subsection 2 3.5 shall be enclosed in a heat sealed bag conforming to Mil Delta Tango Lima 117 type 3 class Bravo style 2. Note, when specified in the contract or order, a carton or box shall be required to affect the unit container, and the primary cushioning shall be placed between the outside of the bag and the inside of the carton or box. So basically they're saying this needs to be put in a waterproof bag and heat sealed. The item needs to be preserved and wrapped, and this is a FAR that they're referencing. And then this is basically detailing the kind of heat sealed bag that you need. So you can just Google this. You literally can copy and paste this and it'll tell you. So Mill DTL. So yep, literally right here. Every spec, which is a website that we discussed yesterday, it literally says bags, heat sealable. And yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you can purchase these online. If I'm not mistaken, you can just copy and paste it and go to shopping. But yeah, so this is it. So you want to print this, actually. You want to have this within your folder that we're compiling here. No requirement for the cushioning material, no requirement for the cushioning thickness. Preservative material, so this has to do with bearings. So this is lubricating oil, general purpose preservative, water displacing, low temperature, and then cleaning and drying any suitable process that is not injurious to the item. So the people that we purchase these bearings from, they are a bearing distributor and manufacturer. So they make sure that all this stuff is taken care of for us on the front end. In the event that you're dealing with a distributor and you might have, special preservation method or preservative material, you do want to inquire, say, hey, how are these going to be shipped? How are these going to be preserved? So just something to be aware of. I'm trying my best to equip you guys with every kind of situation. So you want to print this page. So just right click and then print. So this is going to come out. I don't want this in color. Black and white. There we go. And I just need page 1. Oops. Yeah, just page 1, packaging code lookup, boom. So I will print that out. I'm gonna see if I can log into VSM on this computer. I know we have a computer in the back for it, but it would be great if we could have a login to it here. So I signed into a different account. I have signed into my mother's account. She's our VP of operations, and she is the one that is typically signed in onto the computer in the back that we all use for VSM, or not all of us, but myself and then the shipping guy. And as of lately, it's been primarily myself. So let's see. Please work. Please work. Okay, so after a brief break, we have returned and we have logged into VSM. So let's find the contracts. So these are all of our open contracts that are in VSM. Oh, brother, so many. Good problem to have. We have 155 total contracts open in VSM. Let's see. So you can actually, if I'm not mistaken, you can just search by the solicitation. So SPE 485 23 Papa 4143. Let's see. God, please let it be in here. There it is. Okay, that almost freaked me out. So in the event that you were shipping, multiple pieces, and you couldn't ship the entirety order, you would do multiple freight piece. I've actually never clicked item labels. I don't recommend it. Just buy mail pack and make your labels. But yeah, so you submit. So this is, damn, yeah, you guys are getting the good stuff. I don't think anybody shows people how to use VSM. So shipment contains regulated hazardous materials for transportation. So you basically have 3 options. So you can either stop processing it, you can say it is hazmat stuff, so you need a DG person to come certify it, or it needs non-hazardous materials. So you press submit. So you need to get the weight and dimensions of the box, and then you also need, you need the weight, and then you need length, width, and height, and processing type. So you can ship DLA partial shipment. So there's 10 units that we're shipping. We could do partial and then put a quantity of 5, but we're going to do a total. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pause the video here, go get the weight of that box and the length and width, and then I will return. Okay, so we have returned. The total weight of this shipment is 2 pounds. It's really 1.24, but we're just going to round up. It's always better to just round up a pound, and it's a cube, so it's 7 by 7 by 7. We're shipping the total amount. The vendor reference number, you want to put the contract number. So it's SPE4 Alpha 523 Papa 4143 type pack. Let's see. Normally, you want to change it to box. It should be box, but I guess it auto-populated. And then you want to click submit at the bottom of the page. It's not stackable. Oh, processing type, total. There you go. You want to make it total. I think we discussed that prior to me leaving and weighing the box. So you're submitting, then you get this cool little animation. So here we go. We've got the animation again. The FOB origin shipment 241-48377 has been accepted. So you want to click the print button at the top of the page. And then you want to click on this right here. And then a bunch of various documents will appear. So the small parcel carrier label, this is the FedEx or the UPS label, so that's going to show up. And then the container ID label, so that should also auto-populate, and then the packing list. So then you're going to click print, and this, don't worry, this isn't actually print. So then it says generating documents. And it should auto-populate like 3 tabs. So this is the VSM label. So you need to print out one of these. Then you get your DSS packing list. It's here. Why is it not showing up? There we go. Here's the DSS packing list. So you've got your FSC code and then your NIN. So basically this is the NSN. You've got the nomenclature. It's listed as noun here. Then you've got the quantity. You've got the unit of issue. Then you have the CLIN. I don't know why the date shipped is here. No idea why that's like that. That might be the day where we accepted the contract, if I'm not mistaken. And then here you have the shipping address of where it's going. And then, oh, wow, interesting. This is a UPS ground. This is normally like 80% of the time it's FedEx. So this is your airway bill number, which we're going to talk about. And then here, this is Deborah. She's actually the lady who's been assigned to handling a lot of these. I'm logged in internally. It's kind of interchangeable though. We say everybody at the company here is a CEO, Chief Everything Officer. And then these are some RFID labels, which really don't ever get used. I don't know why I auto-populated with these because we're not even going to use this, but we'll print it out and keep it for trace. We're going to go to MailPack actually in a bit, and we're going to go record that. But yeah, so you actually want to print out, one of these, or actually you want to do two. So write this down, take notes on the amount of copies that we're printing. So you want two. So one is going to go in the folder that we keep for ourselves, the red folder that we're working on. One is going to go on the outside of the box. So you want to print that. Then you have our DSS/VSM packing list. So you actually want to print 4 of these. So the reason for this being, you're going to have one inside the box. You're going to have one in the folder that we keep internally for our records. And then you're going to have an additional 2 that go outside the box. So we have these basically adhesive envelopes that go on the outside of the box. And when we generate our own internal packing slip, we pair that with this. So you've just got to imagine if it's going via UPS or FedEx, they'll probably take one for their own just to look to see what's inside the box. And then once it gets to where it's going, DLA might look at one, or FedEx over in Hanover, Maryland might look at it. So you never know. So you always have to do 4, 2 for the outside, 1 for the inside of the box, and then 1 for your internal records. And then, so we actually used to have a way where we would do half and half, custom. So we actually used to have a way where we would do half and half, and we would do an adhesive. We would put an adhesive paper, and then it would go sideways. But if I'm not mistaken, oh wow, that looks so much smaller. I think it's supposed to say 16. Does it not say 16? Nope. So yeah, it's a bit different with the UPS ones, but we used to have a way where we would have these papers that you can buy at the online label store that I will provide to all of you guys. And you would just put it in sideways, and then with the FedEx label, it prints half and half. So like you do 2 copies, and then you've got one that's on one adhesive and then another one that's on another adhesive that you just typically stick on the folder. Now, if you just print 2 copies and you do pages per sheet as one, and then you just do 2 copies of it, you can just use an adhesive and just stick it on and tape it. It makes no difference. We cut costs by cutting out the extra adhesive. So we're going to do 2 of that. Not sure what collate is, but we're going to print that. And then we'll just print 2 of these. So as you can see, our warehouse is active at the moment. We are always working. What am I not working realistically? So here's the website, onlinelabels.com. They have a whole bunch of different sizes based on the amount that you're shipping, the amount of units that you're shipping, and the size of the packages of what you're shipping. So like if you're shipping little fuses that are super small, you might want to use, this one that has, I don't know, what is this, 30 labels per sheet, because the packs might be smaller. I know in this instance, we're primarily going to be using some that have 10 or 20 per sheet. These are the 2-page, I don't know if you can see, but there's a line going down the middle. Yeah, you guys should be able to see that. That's what we used to print the FedEx labels on. But now we kind of are just saving money by not printing them on there. So let's see. Let's find some labels. Are these ones the 20 page? Are these 20 per page? Or 10? These are 10 per page labels. So I don't know if you guys can see. Can you guys see these little lines? Yeah, boom. So this is what they look like, these little lines. So we've only got 10 of them. I'm gonna take 2 just in case I mess this up. It would be lit if I didn't mess it up because I'm recording, so it would make me look kind of cool because people are watching. So as you can see here, the labels have successfully printed. This is what they should look like. NSN, your cage code, the manufacturer cage, the part number, the description, and the contract number. So I don't ever want to hear that I do not go to bat for my clients. I essentially moved the entire computer into another office to connect it to the Ethernet so that way I could send it to the printer. I go to bat for you guys every single time. So now what we're going to do is we are going to label all of these. So I will see you guys over there at the packaging station. We have returned after many fiascos with shipping. And this stuff actually happens like way more often than you would believe. I almost feel like the more processes you have and the more that you try to be in compliance with stuff, the more opportunities you have for stuff to, I don't want to say go wrong, but not be within those processes. So here are the original packages. So if you recall, we printed out 2 of these. So this is a photocopy of the original label. So we're gonna put this inside. We're gonna put this in the envelope that we make. And one thing I forgot to mention is whatever the amount is for the cleanse, so contract line item, whatever the amount is. So if it's 10, do 1 more, sometimes 2 more if you have to do multiple shipments, because you want to have one that you can put on this folder for your own internal records. And I tried to print the thing twice. I tried to print the labels twice, but then when I connected it to the Ethernet, it just printed it as like 2 separate jobs. So now we have extras. So it worked out. So now what we are going to do or not. If you recall, these need to be in heat sealed bags. So we're gonna open this and then probably have to put it in another bag. I'm kind of nervous to do this. Yikes. Yeah, I am a bit nervous to do this. Let's see how this looks. Oh, okay, it's fine. The bearings are in here and they're lubricated in these things. So it's fine. We're gonna put these in some heat sealed bags. So I have to set up the heat sealer now. Yeah, it needs to be a waterproof bag, and this is paper, so this is not a waterproof bag. So we have to take out all of these and put them in a waterproof bag. So we have returned with heat sealed bags. Oh, such is life. So we are now going to be putting these in here. Boom. They need to be water resistant bags that are heat sealable. We had an extra one, and that was that one that I already put. I just threw it on here, so that's for your own record. And then normally in a situation like this, we would just take all the old original packaging and just put it in a bag inside. That way they see that they're getting that. This bag, the one that they initially came in. We have 5, or no, we have 10 of the original packaging in this bag. And then we're putting them in these heat seal bags. Isn't it crazy that each one of these is $170? That's actually so funny. Sometimes I do have our heat gun, which I just put to max heat, and then I blow, and then voila, you now cannot open this. So that is sealed. I couldn't open this even if I wanted to. It is now completely sealed. So that's 1. And then boom, we will now stick a label on to this water resistant, heat treated, labeled, boom. There you go. That's what it looks like. That's where the money is made. Okay, so we have returned. We have all 10 of our things. Wow, this table's still warm. We have all 10 of our packages. They are all heat sealed. So our stamping heat sealer. Oh, wow. I'm an idiot. I was like, oh, this thing doesn't work. And then you have to press it down for the light to come on. And it's been on the whole time. But I was using the heat gun to heat it up. I would invest in realistically a heat gun because I was supposed to do this with this, but I got the job done just as good, maybe even if not better. I think I prefer that. So I would invest in a heat gun. So you're definitely going to need something to seal with. Then envelopes, you're going to need envelopes. You're going to need these adhesive envelopes, documents enclosed. These go on the outside of the boxes. Then we have our original packaging. We have our original box, which I need to remove this packing list, but I'll do that after. And now we have, so these are various sets of documents. So these are the two labels that are going to go on that box right there. So as we see here, we have our military label. So this is going to DF Young, Hanover, Maryland. And then we have our UPS label. And then we are out of our normal size envelope, so we're making do with what we have. Today's been all about improvise, adapt, overcome, which is good because you guys have seen all the hiccups. You guys have seen everything go wrong. It's been Murphy's Law today, but I don't mind. I really love my job. So now we have the DSS VSM packing list, which we printed out 4 of. Then we have our packing slip, which we generated internally. Then we have our invoice, which we're going to send to the government. That was also generated internally. Then our certificate of conformance. This is a copy of the label as well as including these. So we're just going to give them both. And then these are the additional packing slips. So notice how there's one of each packing slip in here. Then there's 2 of each packing slip here. So two lines and then 2 VSM ones that are going to go on the outside of the box that go in this adhesive. And then there's another set of packing slips that go internally inside the envelope to DLA along with the traceability. So that is everything that you need to ship. And then we still have to put this in pie and waft. So I'm going to record myself packaging this box and then putting everything into pie and waft. And then finally, a couple hours later, we will be done with this. Normally this doesn't take this long. I was just recording for you guys, and then we had some slip ups in the initial stages with that one contract not being correct, and then the Wi-Fi, and then the printer. So it's all good. We made it work. I'm getting this content out to you guys, and it will be good and informative and transparent. This is the only envelope that we have. I just received a phone call there. So we're going to make do with what we have and fit all this in there somehow, some way. That's all today has been about. Where there's been a will, there's been a way today. The adhesive has been applied, and that is now the envelope that is in there. So you put that envelope in there. Normally we have 2-line stickers that we put on the envelope, but I think we might be out, which is a good sign. That means we're packing a lot. Let's see. So yeah, that's everything that goes in there. So now we're gonna put some packing paper in here. We're gonna squeeze this down. So boom, that is what the box would look like. We are now going to boom. So this is closed. So now we need to stick this bad boy on here. So you need to buy a heat gun, envelopes, and some of these adhesive envelopes that go on the outside of boxes. You can buy these on Uline. Like 99% of the stuff that you're gonna need, you can buy on Uline, which is lit. Pro tip: put them alternating. Do an alternating DSM and then an alternating internal packing slip. It's much better that way. That way, when somebody grabs it, they'll be getting one of each instead of just two lines, aerospace ones, or 2 whatever your company name is. The secret to getting most things to fit, most documents of paper to fit in most envelopes that are standard size in GovCon is just folding it 3 times. Just fold the piece of paper 3 times, and it should be good to go. So we've got 2 packing slips, 2 of each packing slip, I should say. And bear in mind that although these do have seals on the end that are also adhesive, you don't want to close it because then that defeats the purpose of people being able to open. Let's take it back. So boom, we've got everything inside the box, and 50% of the stuff needs to go outside the box. Now, what we are going to do, we have our VSM label that we are now going to cut. So now we have our FedEx label, or UPS label, which more often than not is FedEx. So boom, we've got that. And we are going to cut this. So now we have our UPS label and our military packing label. So keep in mind, the box is right side up this way. So what we can do, if I'm not mistaken, is we can do military label on one side and then FedEx label on the other side. So that works out quite nicely, actually. You get real acquainted with this tape though. Fun fact, my grandfather worked for FedEx. My father worked for FedEx. Mom was a loan officer and she's been all kinds of managers. So she's our VP of operations. So she came up with all the quality processes. Obviously, I've helped her refine them to an extent, but my mom is the woman that you should thank. If you want to send anybody a thank you email, besides myself, send it to my mom. She's the one that's created all these documents for you guys. We've helped her refine them, but she came up with the blueprint. So shout out to her. So now this box is entirely ready to go. We've got our VSM label. We've got our UPS ground label. We've got our envelopes with the packing slips enclosed. We have the traceability inside. Now we are going to go into WAF and I'm going to show you guys how to get paid. Actually, that's not true. We have one more thing to do. So here we have our award folder document checklist. So now it is entirely full. So if you remember in the beginning, we just had a couple. So now it's full. So this is the document checklist. So we've got the contract. Boom. We've got the bid summary. I think I might just put this stuff on the desk. We've got the bid summary in its entirety. So every single document from every single page of the cert from Dibs. Then we have our quote, so our vendor quote, which we just printed out from AppSite. So this is what we're selling to DLA. This is what I went and put it in as internally in AppSite. Then we have our reval from my buddy Sean Gallagher. Then we have our order acknowledgement. And actually, you know what? I think I will keep this here so that way we can work our way down. So we've got the order. Then we've got our quote from my buddy. Then we've got our vendor quote. Then we've got our vendor PO receipt email. So proof that we sent it to them. Normally he sends us a receipt, but this one was such a quick and easy one. They called me and asked me to bid it. So that comes after PO receipts, so trace documents. Then we've got our receiving inspection checklist. So boom. Then we've got our received receipt, which is AKA our receiving inspection report. Then we've got our packaging search results. So packaging code lookup, these are the search results. That's why we just had to heat seal because we saw that in there. Then we have our DSS packing slip, our UPS ground label, and our VSM label. And then this also printed out. So this is basically the mill pack label that we just made, but for whatever reason, it doesn't have the part number or the manufacturer cage, which is why we don't use it. So all that is right there. So boom, as you can see, DSS packing slip, and then the UPS freight and military label from VSM. Then we have our invoice, which is the next thing. And then we have our 2LA packing slip. And then not included on here is our certificate of compliance, our CFC, which is actually new. We just made a packing slip kind of substitutes as a CFC, but AppSite is advanced, so we're fortunate enough to be able to do both. So that is everything in its entirety, and I guarantee you, if you have all of these documents for every single award, you will pass every single audit, no questions asked.